Nothing like coffee to start the day. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I'm due for a haircut, but we do have a special episode for you today. We're talking about 5 tips for beginner photographers, but we do have a special guest who is welcome back to the channel. And I don't know if the mask is gonna get in the way of the audio, but I don't know how to like introduce you. Like we a special guest. we have someone joining us today, back from far away.
From Bahrain.
Yeah. So you're talking about sharing, maybe. Oh yeah, marami yan, mga stickers.
Stickers?
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Stickers. I don't have zoom lens, and it's so small in my camera.
Yeah, so I haven't been out, like I was saying, I haven't been out in months. Diba? And since you're talking about like sharing, maybe you want to share like tips.
Tips?
Yeah, because you're talking about sharing, photography in general. 5 tips.
Yeah, I like photography.
Yeah.
But like I'm doing more into narratives. So even if I shoot street, it's still part of a larger narrative.
Yeah.
So it's difficult for me to shoot a single story image, but I am trying. So anyway, with photography, you always have to learn the basics and the important stuff. Like, yeah, you learn aperture, you learn ISO, you learn shutter speed, and just basically learn everything first and learn how to use manual. And then when you're comfortable and confident that you can do all those things together, like you can, you know, it's math. They say it's math. So if you can do all those things together, then you can break the rules. So you can just shoot blurred or whatever, you know, or overexposed and stuff. Like you begin to explore and just express yourself in a manner that you feel resonates to you. That's it. But if you feel that you're the type of person, photographer, who wants to shoot like the, how do you call this? You want to shoot in a manner that's by rules, by the rules, then go for it. Like, it's much more, maybe if you fully go into commercial, it will help you a lot, you know? So, yeah. So, the thing with my fixed lens is that this is 23 and my camera is so far. So, they're very small in my, I have to move closer. But yeah, never mind. My camera is built for, maybe if we go on the other side later.
Yeah, sige.
Yeah.
So I guess tip number 1 is know how to use your camera.
Yeah. So, okay.
Regardless of your brand.
Yes. So, it's true na sinasabi nila na the best camera you have is the one that you have. So, even if you have, like you're always saying like nahiya ka, it's just point and shoot and stuff. It's fine. Even if it's just point and shoot. Like, some of the greatest photographers are just using point and shoot in street photography. Like Daido Moriyama and, you know, other photographers. They don't use SLR. You don't need that. Maybe in the future. Okay, so I'm using a Fuji fixed lens, 23mm. So it's the first time I'm using a fixed lens. The problem is, if I shoot portraits, it's a little wide, too wide. No, it's not little wide. It's too wide, and it makes your subject distorted. Yeah. And then I use manual most of the time. But sometimes you will think, why do I need to use manual? Minsan hindi na. You don't, especially when you're using street. Pero I just got used to it since you know, it practices you. But sometimes talaga, if you're doing street photography, you don't need to use manual because you have to change your settings most of the time.
Yeah, so like others use like shutter priority, aperture priority, depending on what they want to do. So I guess the second tip is you don't have to shoot in manual, shoot in what you're comfortable with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just because you're not shooting in manual doesn't mean you're not a photographer. It's not that. Hindi yan totoo. I mean, depends.
It's okay, it can hear you.
Yeah, so yeah, it has a mic, sorry. So yeah.
Noisy intersection, but hopefully we can hear you.
Yeah, so but the thing is, you know, if you want to take photographs, then go take photographs. Everyone can be a photographer now. I have no problem with that. But then again, your career in photography, if you want to have a career, it can only take you as far as where you want to go. If you push for it to become like a professional one, then go for it, diba?
Yep.
But if you just want to become a hobbyist, but at least learn the professional, learn some professional stuff, then go for it as well. Alam mo yun, walang problem. There's no place nowadays to become so elite or like raise your eyebrows, you know?
Yeah.
At someone. Just because you have this expensive camera doesn't mean you're the best photographer.
Yeah, people, like I was saying earlier, people, you're saying like everyone has a camera now, like anyone can do photography, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, don't mistake having a camera as being a good photographer.
Yeah.
There, you know, skill still comes into play.
That's true.
Also, new photographers tend to jump into getting a 50mm f1.8 right after they get their first camera. I wouldn't stop you from doing that, but one bit of advice Ria gave me when I was starting out was to stick to the kit lens. I used that 18 to 55mm kit lens for almost a year. By the time I wanted to get a lens, I understood why I wanted it and what to use it for.
But I prefer.
I'm gonna move away. Da, da, da.
Let's go.
It's starting to rain, yun lang. Let's stop this muna.
Now, Ria made a good point here, but unfortunately the phone I'm using to record the video is dying and it failed me. Now, she mentioned to look at the work of other photographers and to learn from them. Now, my opinion on it is, even if it's from a different genre, something I don't do, you can always learn something. I identify myself as a portrait photographer, but I still try to look at the work of other photographers that do different things, such as street photography, landscape, and so on. You can always pick something up and, use it. Also, bonus tip, replace old failing gear. And this takes us to tip number 5. Understand your limitations. Now, adding more gear to your setup is very tempting. Just like knowing your lens, tip number 3, you want to shoot with your limitations and solve any problems you encounter with what equipment and skill you already have. I'm not saying don't get new gear, but what I'm saying is understand why you want it. And if you do, and God forbid it fails, you know how to work around it. So yeah, Maria and I went around. We didn't get to shoot as much, but we did chat a lot and caught up on stuff. And these tips are what it is. They're just that, tips, friendly advice. take it with a grain of salt. You know, these things help me, work for me. If they work for you, great. If they don't, you can toss it out the window. Do whatever works for you in the end, right? But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and well, I'll try to upload more, but in the meantime, that's it for now. Bye.